Justin Fields is apparently not worried about his pending contract situation. He's more worried about getting those wins. And that is why we love Justin Fields. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk about Matt Eberflus and why he believes the schedule actually benefits the Bears. And we're going to talk about why the Bears voted against the new kickoff rule. We'll get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans, welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host here, Haize. If you want to follow me, you can do so right off the top at CEO Haize. That's CEO Haize. You can also follow the show at Shy Bears Central on every social media platform that we are on. But let's get into the content for today. So Justin Fields came out with a quote today that I'm not worried about contracts. I'm worried about wins. And as we continue to see the growth of the leadership from Justin Fields, that is what's the most important thing, right? Yes, we want to see the development and growth on the field, absolutely, right? Nothing can take away from what we need to see on the field from Justin Fields. But while we can't see that right now, just by the nature of the Bears not playing games, you want to see this type of thing from Justin Fields. The fact that he's not worried about the contract, the fact that he even shot down basically the question to focus more on this team getting wins. Yes, he's eligible for a contract extension this season, but he knows, the team knows, all that doesn't mean anything if you're not winning games on the field, right? You could talk about a contract extension all day, and while it is not completely on Justin Fields, it's on the makeup of the team overall, the coaching. Last year, we won 3 games. And so to worry about a contract extension while you are supposed to be the franchise quarterback and your team's winning 3 games, it doesn't make any sense to be worried about that. Justin Fields saying the direct quote, I'm not worried about contracts, I'm worried about wins. I could care less. Every year is a big year. I don't really have anything to expand on that. For me, every year is a big year, and I'm excited to show it. That's what we need. I know we're not the show me state, but it's up to the team and Justin Fields to show and prove. Everything else will take care of itself, right? Yes, the man is up for a contract extension at the end of the season. Yes, he's more than likely going to get it. Yes, he is the franchise quarterback of this team for now and the foreseeable future. But the biggest and most important thing is getting the wins, growing as a team, him growing as a leader, as a quarterback, as all those things, right? And when you hear the things coming out about him and saying how Chase Claypool has grown and understand the system, and Chase Claypool's poised for a breakout year and he's motivating his guys, we are seeing a leader grow in front of our face. And while Jay Cutler statistically is probably the greatest quarterback in Chicago Bears history, I never got a vibe or feel of a great leader from Jay Cutler, and damn sure not from Mitchell Trubisky. Justin Fields is poised and in a position to where we can get everything that we need from Justin Fields. Yes, he has to show the growth on the field. We know that. But he's shown the ability to be a dynamic player even in a 3-14 season. But we need more from Justin Fields. We need that leadership. We need it on the field. But with the leadership coming with that, I don't know anyone who's going to be against how we're seeing Fields grow and develop as a leader. When you even look at how important it was for him to build that chemistry with DJ Moore early, being one of the first people to help pick him and his family up off the plane when they got to Chicago. Those are things that we will never fully understand, right? How important that is for chemistry of the team. And when you have an offensive unit that disappointed last season, and by the offensive unit, I mean them as a whole and head coach Luke Getsy, everyone involved in the offense disappointed to a degree last season. We know why. We understand the reasons. But it does not change that it was a disappointing season. And for us to turn that around in this upcoming season, that's what we need to see. And I do think, truly, in my heart of hearts, that we are poised to see the Bears make a nice leap in this upcoming season, for the Bears to grow more in this upcoming season. And I think that we are going to push for a playoff run this upcoming season. When you look at how wide open the division is for the Chicago Bears, that's one notch in the Bears' cap there. The division is wide open for the first time in a decade. And while I know some Lions fans and some other people will have you believe that it's not as open as what it probably is, and that's fine. Everybody has their own narratives. That's absolutely fine. They can view me thinking that the Bears have a chance to make a playoff run as being blindsided or having my narrative. But I do think that the NFC North has so many questions from every team in that division. Every team. This is probably the first time we go into it with every team having their questions. And while, yes, there are some teams that, at least right now on paper, you can expect and think that are going to at least start off a little bit better, The Bears have their opportunity to make their move in the NFC North and maybe grab a hold of that division for the foreseeable future. Growth is going to have to be a continued part of that, right? Continue to develop is going to have to be a continued part of that. Evolving your offense over time and being a defensive unit. Yes, it's not all on the offense when it comes to that, but yes, we have that chance to make that move. And then when you look in the fact that the Bears also look at how many close games we're in with an offense that did not pass as much as we know. With an offense that was very stagnant. With an offense that was at times just flat out one-dimensional in the sense that we did almost all of our damage in the running game. We were in so many close games last season. And so as we continue, as we hope that Justin Fields is growing from that, the defense is better, all those things, we lost so many games by one score last season that, listen, hopefully by this team improving, this team being better overall, this team growing, Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, Alan Williams, everybody growing on this team and the improvements we've made on the field, a lot of those close games now can go in the Bears' way. So we are looking at a team that absolutely, hopefully, has learned from those mistakes of losing and to come back, bounce back better than ever and be ready to go. But then on top of that, it's the growth of Justin Fields and the weapons that we have as well that you have to look at our potential to make the playoffs this year, right? I'm still waiting. You guys know I try to be realistic. I would love to be on here and scream, the Bears are making the playoffs. My brain is a little bit more realistic than that. I have to see how things are going to come together on the field. But I do say that we have that chance. It would be impossible for me to say we do not have a chance to do that with all the things that I listed and how the division sits. So in looking at that, I love to hear the quote from Justin Fields. I love that he's focused on football and leadership. Let the contract things work its way out. But the most important thing is getting those dubs, and to hear that from our quarterback. And ain't nobody going to say, let me not say nobody, because there have been some players in the NFL that absolutely will talk about their contract before they talk about wins. But it's good to have a quarterback and a young man in the position of being our franchise quarterback that says and does the right things. Let's just see if those right things that are said verbally end up translating to on the field for the Chicago Bears. Now, coming out of that, another thing that could bode well in the Bears' favor as far as trying to make a playoff push this year is our schedule. And so we know that we have one of the easier schedules in the NFL, at least shaped up to be. We'll see how those teams work. That's a living thing, depending on how some of these teams come together. That strength of schedule may change some. But when you look at how manageable our schedule is, it is easy to say that we're going to finish better than our 3-14 record last season. But one of the most important pieces of this team, and that is head coach Matt Eberflus, also feels that the schedule benefits the Chicago Bears when he says this. Yeah, so once you look at the schedule, and I presented it to the team after the weekend it came out, I think it's positive. Because you look at 2 Thursday games that are Game 5 and Game 10, so you really have 2 mini buys, and you think that's a real positive for us. Gives us a little break after 5 games and after 10 games. Then we play 2 games after that. We got Detroit, and then we got Monday against the Vikings. We get a real bye at Week 13. Then you finish 5 games at the end. You start with the division opponent, you end with the division opponent, so I think that's good. I think we have some good rest in there so we can rest and recover and get refreshed to play our best football. And so when me, C-Dub, Bobby, and I think Steve-O was on that episode as well, broke down the Bears' schedule, we talked about how those bye weeks, how the primetime games, how all that really shaped up, right? But when you hear Coach Matt Eberflus just talk about the ebbs and flows of the NFL season, that is one of the things that you don't really always talk about, is how the rest can help or hurt a team, right? The lack of rest, the traveling, all that stuff. But when the way that Matt Eberflus laid that out is that they're going into this with confidence, and it seems like a plan on how they're going to rest, how they're going to practice, how they're going to prepare, right? Those ins and outs, those things that we don't always see as part of a football team are just as important as anything else. So as we continue to grow and as we go through the season, having Matt Eberflus be confident in it, having, the players be confident in it, we're riding into the season and probably with more confidence than some people think that as a 3-14 team that we should have. But there are reasons absolutely to have confidence in our schedule and this team's improvements overall. And as we continue to go forward into that, I think it's going to be great to see, right? And you have a team that, I've said it before, we're not going to be firing on all cylinders right away unless training camps, OTAs really help this team get a jump start, because most of the pieces are there. I still think it's going to take a few weeks for and maybe a month and a half into the season before the team really gets that chemistry. And that's if everybody can stay healthy, right? But as that trust develops, as Justin Fields kind of unlearned some of those that muscle memory thing that he learned just by the nature of having to run for his life day in and day out, being the quarterback of the Chicago Bears last season, and trust those weapons, trust that offensive line, right? Them come together, the chemistry building, the running back room, which is going to be a big strength for us. The schedule absolutely can work out in the Bears' favor. And I think this is the year where the Bears can use their easy schedule to really build that confidence week in and week out. They're going to lose some tough games to start, probably. They're going to have some tough losses, as every team does over the course of the season. But we're helmed by a coach. We're helmed by a GM. We're helmed by a quarterback, right? All those things that are riding tons of waves of confidence coming into the season. And hopefully that goes through the whole team. And then we see a team that just builds up that confidence, gets rocking and rolling, gets all those things going. And so, yeah, there's expectations on this Bears team now. And there's maybe expectations that you wouldn't necessarily want to set on a team that is so young, right? We are a very young team. I don't know where we rank as far as youth in the NFL, but we are an extremely young team. And because of that youth, it may make it a little bit kind of ridiculous to have high expectations on this team. And especially, when we're going to have so many first and second year players in starting positions on this team, and third year players, if you want to throw it in that as well. But it just feels different around this team. Everything around this team feels different. The confidence that this team has may be a little bit irrational. Maybe they don't know what they don't know, right? And maybe they'll learn it over the course of the season. But it's a different feel. And I tell you what, there's been a long time since I was filled with that many positive vibes just from a team before the pads even get on. Well, I guess they are in OTA, so the pads are on. We will see. I'm super excited about the season, and I'm really excited. There are so many players as well on this team that I think are really going to shock and awe and grow and develop. One of those players is Dominique Robinson as well. You guys know I was high on Dominique Robinson last season. What he showed as a depth piece was great. And then when he got into that starting lineup, it just didn't come the same way. And I think there's a different set of expectations as well when you send out a player like Robert Quinn, and the defensive line overall struggled. I think the improvement that we made on that interior defensive line with all those things, and I think that the defense as a whole being drastically improved and being helmed and fronted, and having a player like Jaquan Brisker, who played with confidence all his rookie season, having an extra year of reps now coming in his second year, that confidence is probably going to be higher. I think that a player like Kyler Gordon is going to be ready to go more often. You look at Tyreek Stevenson as well, adding him to that secondary as well. You look at our linebacking core being improved overall. I'm really excited about it. And I know I've been saying that for like the last couple of weeks, but everything that comes out, everything, right? And now with OTAs and all the kind of rumblings and things that are coming out of there, I'm excited. And I can't wait for Chicago Bears football to start again, right? I can't wait. I'm really, really excited about this. And so, we'll see. Hearing the reviews and the players and the coaches and how they're talking about Chase Claypool now as well, coming in, having more familiarity, the system being built more around him as well. Justin Fields saying this, Chase has improved tremendously just from the end of last year till now. That's one thing I'm truly proud to say, just seeing his work ethic, his attitude change, and you can see he's taking another step. Definitely excited for that. Keep in mind, last season, Justin Fields had to sit on the sideline and talk to Chase Claypool. And now to say that he's grown so much, we are in store for an exciting season, I think, for the Chicago Bears. But before we go, the Chicago Bears were one of the teams joining the Ravens, the Patriots, the Bengals, the Bears, and the Lions were all teams that voted against the new kickoff rule. The Raiders absolutely abstained from the rule, and it seems like the rule was close to not passing, but then Roger Goodell lobbied very hard overnight and then flipped a bunch of teams to end up causing them to vote for that new rule. And so having now, when you look at the kickoff rule and the fact that touchbacks and everything and fair catches now will go to the 25-yard line on kickoffs, not on punts. I think it's just kickoffs. It's now raised the question on how is that going to change the game, right? And I think when you look at it, especially for the Chicago Bears, when you look at a player like Devin Hester, right? Would Devin Hester still be able to have the highlight plays that he has and have the Hall of Fame career, because Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer and deserves to be a Hall of Famer? Y'all get that man in the Hall of Fame. But with that said, Devin Hester, are we ever going to see a player be able to have the impact in the kicking game again with him? You already have moved up to where the kickers kick the ball off from, right? You already moved that up. So now you kick it from the 25, which has caused more touchbacks and everything like that. It seems like, and one of the bigger concerns around NFL pundits and everything is that eventually it seems like Roger Goodell may be trying to phase out the kickoff, right? And so if that becomes a thing and you're phasing out the kickoff, that is taking out a whole aspect of the game. And while we know C-Dub doesn't care about kickers, right? We know that, is that you're changing the game of football fundamentally at that point, right? And, you know, the dynamic, the fun kickoff returns, those are already, we're seeing less and less of those. And when you look at like fielding special teamers and how some players, when they initially come in the league, they make their name on special teams. Yeah, there'll still be punt returns and things like that, but you are changing the game of football in a way that some people are just fighting against. And when I see the new rule and things like that, I need to see. So far, it's just going to be this 1 year. They're testing it out this 1 year. And then probably, if I had to guess, they're going to re-vote on it to see if they're going to ratify it and make it a new permanent rule change for the NFL. But I don't know, man. I'm not the highest on it, man. And you guys, please let me know what you guys think on that down below. I just wanted to mention that, hearing that the Bears were one of the teams that voted against it. And, you know, the fact that Roger Goodell had a basically politic and get a lot of teams to vote for it that were originally going to vote against it is wild. But I guess we'll end up seeing what it ends up coming of it. We'll see how it does this year in the NFL. But hey, we already knew there will probably never be another Devin Hester. But with the rules that are changing, they're definitely making it to where there's never going to be another one. And by the way, get that man in the Hall of Fame. But that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think down below. Also, tomorrow's the mailbag episode. I haven't checked. I don't even know. You guys could have gotten tons of voicemails in. I have not checked the voicemail bag since last week. But tomorrow's the mailbag episode and Saturday. So make sure you guys get those voicemails and text in so we can break that down and interact with you guys. But otherwise, that's my time for today. Make sure you're following the show at Shy Bears Central on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related because of you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.